Hey guys, Crystal Thompson here for Studio Cadia. Today I have this really fun video and we're going to be using the newest slider tag dies, and we're going to really stretch our supplies and using these on cards. So you're wondering, we're going to do two ways of using the slider tags. So for this, we're going to be using the Poinsettia Borders, which is one of the newest releases that was released along with the tag dies. Then we're going to be using the gift tag greeting. We're going to be using some of these beautiful little sentiments for our other card. And then of course this well-used snowflakes. Super pretty. This is just going to serve as a repetitive background. And of course we are going to be using the floral snowflake. Super pretty as well. Very detailed, and I haven't seen a floral snowflake. So this is really a unique product. So let me show you. We have cut the following. So I have for our first card, our color combination is going to be this craft and this beautiful like snowy green, and this is going to be more of a winter card, and so that's the die right there, and it ends up cutting these beautiful little edges as well. Then for our second card, we're going to be using both of these. So we have our white Nina cardstock, then I've cut this out of vellum, which is going to give it some texture and dimension, and then we're going to cut this tag, and this is the slider part of the tag, to be labeled on top for the sentiment. All right, so we're going to begin with the repetitive stamping part of this. So I have the snowflakes ready to go on my acrylic blocks. Now we're going to be using the Real Red from Stamping Up. You can use whatever colors you like, and I just wanted to use this red. I love the way it cleans up and how crispy images end up coming up. So we're just going to again repeat the process of this stamping, and repetitive stamping allows you to create your own backgrounds using whatever color combinations you choose, which makes it really easy when you're trying to figure out, well, I only have a certain type of embellishment or whatnot. And I really wanted to create a video like this because I really want to use my tags or my whatever product, especially dies, because those are an investment, to be able to get the most out of them. And I do want to mention that when you purchase your Studio Cadia products, be sure you get them from Studio Cadia. Do not buy the knockoffs. The sizes are off, and so that's quite lovely. When you wait all that time from a foreign place getting your stamps and then, or your dies, and then not having them match anything because you know they're stolen designs. So again, be sure to buy your products from Studio Cadia from studiocadia.com or from an authorized vendor. And guys, this really allows us to provide all these tutorials on, one, to how to use your products, two, how to make the most of the products that you have purchased. All right, we are almost done. This almost looks like a very festive sweater in my opinion, which is super cute. And the beauty of stamping with snowflakes is that you just kind of turn it to fit the angle that is necessary or needed on your card. So we're going to set this aside and we're going to move on to the sentiment. It's just a beautiful pattern, really pretty, super easy to make. Then we're going to bring in the slider part of the tag, and I have the Merry Christmas, and this is from the gift tag greetings, Merry Christmas Winter, excuse me, greetings from winter. And everything will be tagged below on this video with all the product links to the Studio Cadia store. We're going to stamp Merry Christmas, trying to center it, but well, you know, this is a handmade card, so if it doesn't work out, that is okay. And so by doing this on this white is really going to clean it up. We're going to grab our favorite snowflake, which is this kind of a floral snowflake, and again we're going to repeat this repetitive stamping, but we're only going to do it on the bottom and the top part of the tag. And the reason for that is that we want to be able to leave that Merry Christmas very nice and clean. All right, so that is ready to go. We're going to set this aside and move on to assembling our card. All right, look how beautiful this is going to look, really cool. And honestly, you could just pop it over right there, but I think it's going to get lost in this entire card. So we're going to begin by adding a piece of thread, twine, baker's twine, whatever you want to call it, even ribbon. And I've selected this red just because I felt like it matched everything. This is a simple way to use your tags for card making. And honestly, I'm kind of loving this snowflake stamp tag. I think this might be my Christmas tags from now on. So I have my vellum tag, of course, that we had die cut earlier. I have some pieces of foam tape. So we're going to lift this tag over like this, and we're going to be using foam tape. So the foam tape is going to go right in the center, and the reasoning why is that this is going to be layered on top of it, and we want to be able to cover it. So we're going to fold the foam over so it creates a double layer. We're going to bring it in at an angle. Okay. And then on this one, we're going to put this right on top of it as well at an angle. So you can either raise it or bring it down. And I'm actually just going to be using some flat adhesive. So I'm going to use the adhesive right over the tape, foam tape that we've added. And then we're going to add our tag. And now you have a card with a tag on it. The vellum kind of cleans it up just a little bit, but it's really, really pretty. Then you can go ahead and embellish as you would like. So we're going to move on to our second card. Okay, so for our second card, I had said earlier, we're going to be using the poinsettia border and the floral snowflake. What we're going to do, the tag for this one's going to serve again as our sentiment holder. However, it's also going to be the main place for that poinsettia border. So we're going to bring in our floral snowflake, and we're going to grab that scrap piece of paper again and use it to protect our surface. So we're going to place this down, and honestly, I don't like my paper or my cardstock moving around too much. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use some purple tape just to hold it down where I know there's going to be no stenciling. You can use some of that pixie spray if you like. I try to keep my supplies minimal, and so I rather use just that purple tape that I use for everything. So we're going to center it right in the center, and this is going to be really fun because it's not going to take away, that tag's not going to take away from the beautiful background stencil. So this is an easy, super easy way to create a ton of cards if you're using tags, because you're not having to do a ton of coloring. You're really utilizing the tags to be the main focus of your card. So we're going to do some ink blending using the Studio Cadia brushes, and I'm using that crumb cake, which is a brown, and I'm going to add a really dark blend of it because it's just super pretty and I really wanted to pop up. But because it's still craft cardstock, it's still going to look very neutral, very modern. And this is really more of a winter card than our last card that we did earlier, which was very Christmassy. So with the smaller ones, I'm noticing that I need to tap down as opposed to blending because it kind of does pop it out. But you know, that's just on these outer edges. Everything else is pretty easy to blend out. And I just love all the detail. The detailed stencils make everything super pretty. You can even do rainbow cards with this, just utilizing different colors as you go and blend. All right, so we have finished up this bottom part of it. I'm gonna make sure that we get this whole area. Now that's done, we are gonna lift our stencil, put that ink away. We're gonna remove it, and now we have this really fun stenciled craft cardstock. I'm going to remove that purple tape from it, set this stuff aside, and then we can move on to the tag. So the tag's going to sit right over it, and again, it's not taking away from this stencil in the background. It's just super pretty. So we're going to grab that piece of paper again. We're going to grab our poinsettia flowers, and we're going to stamp on Soft Sky, which is the same color or very similar color to this cardstock that we cut the slider tag die, and this is the back part of the slider tag die. So I'm going to get this inked up, and we're going to continue with that repetitive stamping technique, and all this is going to do is make it super pretty, just give it some dimension. That's going to match really nicely with what we're trying to shoot here for a winter card. And on this one, because the stamp is so much larger, you actually don't have to spend a ton of time doing a bunch of little stamping. So that one's ready to go. Now what we're going to do is we're going to heat emboss both the tag and one of the strips. So this is going to sit over like this, and it's going to look really pretty once we add the sentiment. So we're gonna bring in, like I mentioned, the tag and the strip, and this is out of that same craft cardstock. And so we're gonna do Merry, and then this is gonna sit on top, and it's gonna be Christmas. Okay, we're gonna grab our embossing ink and our white embossing powder. So we're gonna remove those items. We're going to begin with the strip, and my reasoning for that is to allow some of this to dry. Okay. Do Christmas right on the center. Give it a couple seconds to allow that cardstock to absorb the ink. Beautiful. Then we're going to grab our heat embossing powder. Now we have Christmas. I'm actually going to set this aside, and then I will heat set everything together. Now that there's some powder on it, it's not going to go anywhere. We're going to ink up Merry again. And we're going to do more 3/4 down from the tag. Hold it down for just a couple seconds. And then come back with our embossing powder. And then we're going to heat set the whole thing, which is going to really make it pop, and then we can begin putting our card together. All right, so everything's been heat embossed. So we have the Christmas, which is absolutely beautiful, and I've added a piece of foam adhesive on the back. And then we have the Merry, and because my ink hadn't completely dried, it grabbed that beautiful white embossing. And you know what? I actually really dig it. I feel like it makes it really look nice. So now we're going to begin assembling a card. So I have a piece of one-sided foam adhesive. What we're going to do, we're going to grab our tag, we're going to flip it over, and we're going to add some adhesive to the back of that cardstock tag. We're going to add the non-adhesive part to the foam, or the foam non-adhesive to the glue that we just added to the tag, and then we're going to pull off the backing where it will reveal that sticky back. And so when you're using larger pieces such as this, such a tag like this one, it really saves on foam tape, and then of course it kind of gives it a more uniform look than having all these lifted items. So we're going to press this down. Then we're going to grab our Christmas tag, or a Christmas strip, and we're going to place it right down here. So it really gives you that Merry Christmas look. This is a much subdued card compared to that red one we did earlier, but then you can embellish with crystal embellishments and make it really glittery. And guys, that does it. We are using tags on our cards, and this is 2 different ways to be able to make cards using tags. Thank you so much. Have an amazing day.